Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this launch session this evening. My name is Professor Almerine Greef, and I have the pleasure of acting as your program director for this evening. I'm not going to be welcoming you just yet, because the pleasure of that is Professor Tennyson Mukuchini's, who will be our first presenter for this evening. Following on Professor Mukuchini will be Ms. Ilis Manolta from Facebook Africa, and thereafter Mr. Junaid Sabera and Mr. Xolani Sedibe, who will talk to us about getting started with Facebook marketing. Thereafter, we will have a Q&A session, and most of you are already well aware of the Q&A function on Microsoft Teams, but for those of you who aren't, at the top left-hand side of your screen, you will see two little interlocking dialog boxes with a question mark in the middle. You will make use of that when prompted to do so. We will finish off with Ms. Ilis Manolta once again after that. But for now, I'm going to hand you over to Professor Tennyson Mukuchini. Professor Mukuchini is the director of the School of Transdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies within the College of Graduate Studies. He is also the lead for the Accelerated Online Postgraduate Support Program, wherein this wonderful offering falls. So I hand you over to Professor Tennyson Mukuchini.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, students. We're going to try and just lighten up this event a little bit. Thank you for giving up 6 p.m. on a Monday for those of you who are in South Africa. So I know this is a tough time. Mondays are not always the best day for us to do highly intellectual things. So we'll try and keep this as friendly as possible. I would like to just welcome all our distinguished guests who have joined us tonight. I can't, as you know, with this online platform that we have, things are very anonymous. So we've invited a range of distinguished people from the highest people in our university to people in higher education in general. So I will just observe all protocols in saying welcome to them and to our Facebook team who have really worked really hard to put out this initiative that we're launching today. We welcome you. It's specifically Ilis Manolta, who will speak immediately after me. She's done quite a lot of work putting up with all the demands that we said our students have. So I think you will see that this has been tailor-made just for you. We also welcome Digify Africa, and there's a whole team that have been responsible for this. And in particular, we have our speakers, Xolani Sedibe and Junaid Sabera, who you'll meet a little bit later on when they showcase what it is that we have on offering. Of course, we've had lots of contributions from our academics at UNISA, so we welcome you all. And finally, I mean, this would not exist. There would be no need for this were it not for students. So we're welcoming all you students, and we have one assumption, which I think is quite fair, that assumption is that you all want at some point soon to have meaningful occupation that makes the most of your skill set that you have. And this is basically where this WOOC, and this WOOC is an acronym for WhatsApp Open Online Course. So basically, as you know, the accelerated online postgraduate program that we have is designed to really fill in the holes that your current course of study does not attend to. And one of those biggest holes has been that we know as students that when you graduate, we have this belief that you will find something meaningful to do with the skills that we have given you. But research is very, very blatant about this. 1 in 3 of you will not end up doing the thing that you have studied for. And that is scary. If you think about the many years of investments that you do only to end up having a 33% chance of actually not getting to where you've studied to get to. So what we have discovered, and there's lots of research around this, is that ultimately at the end of your study, it's your ability to market yourself that separates those who can from those who can't. And also, as you know, there are many more people available than there are jobs. So really the leading universities have figured out that the more likely you are to produce your own job, the better the chances are for you. And this is where the synergy between the WOOC and this accelerated online postgraduate program lies. And we really need to stress this, that much like what the golf course was to the 20th century, the social platforms that you engage in have become that place where you meet all the potential people and spaces that will accommodate your future aspirations as far as your professional progression is concerned. So in essence, the WOOC is literally your golf lessons. If you think about this, these are your golf lessons. This is how you set yourself up so you stand ahead of all your other competitors in the business world. So now I have spoken about the difficulty of finding jobs. It gets worse the further south you go. So basically, the further south you go in the globe, the worse the picture gets for you. And you will probably recognize that South Africa is at the very tip of the southern part of the world. So the need for you to be an entrepreneur in the way you think, in the way you remodel yourself, becomes that much more dire. So basically what this WOOC does for you is that it's firstly, it's a novel way of teaching and learning. It allows you to integrate all these playful things that we have access to. Who would have thought that WhatsApp could be a space for you to find jobs? I know many people meet their future partners through WhatsApp, and 10 years ago, if you had suggested this, someone would say that's terrible, not possible. But guess what? Many people have had relationships grow out of WhatsApp. And if you can trust WhatsApp to find the partner that will end up being the person who you wake up next to, sleep next to, surely filling in the rest of the day should not be a problem for this platform. The irony is nobody has quite tried it out, as obvious as it is, and this platform allows us to do that. It allows us to do that, and you know that WhatsApp has got some exceptional features. You know, the immediacy of things, the ability to connect with as many people as you decide, your ability to turn it on and off when you want. And of course, every day we discover new and great things that WhatsApp can do. There's a time when it could only record 10 seconds of audio and all those types of things. And now it's unlimited recording. We do all sorts of things on it. So you are at the very cutting edge of turning WhatsApp from just a social addendum to your existence to the actual thing that gives you viability as a professional. So you have the rare opportunity of accessing this program. It's free for you. You are at the very beginning of how the future of employment is going to look like. And I ask you to just grab this like you've grabbed the open online course with both hands and don't let go. And I think Eliz Manotti from Facebook Africa will tell you a bit more about what it is that this program can do for you. So now that I've convinced you that this is the space where you find your next job, or how you market yourself so you become a creator of jobs, I hope your mind is open, your ears are up and about, and you're thinking, for the next hour, I'm going to make some good use of this. So without taking up any more time, I'll pass you on to Elisma. And folks, enjoy this as you have done with everything else that this program offers. Take care.
Thank you so much, Professor Tennyson. And then Wax, you're welcome to put the slides up so long. And I'm just going to give a short introduction to what we're going to be doing tonight, and also a little bit more information about the WOOCs that Professor Tennyson has set up so nicely. I'm really passionate about that because, as he said, you know, this combines everything that really is important in terms of driving entrepreneurship on this continent, in terms of driving innovation on this continent, and in terms of driving growth. I work for the Facebook Africa team, and if you look at our logo there at the bottom, you can see that those are the products that we work across, and WhatsApp is one of them. And also Facebook, of course, Instagram, Messenger, and then also Oculus, which is on the other side of the future in terms of virtual reality. But we're so excited about WhatsApp in Africa because it really is the biggest messaging platform. And it reaches so many people, and it reaches it in a data-light way. And why is that important? And why are we trying to deliver education over WhatsApp? Well, here's the thing. So for us to really grow the future of Africa, make sure that we don't fall in the gap, the digital divide, we need to do two things, right? We need to connect people. We need to get them online. And we do a lot, and as Facebook, together with operators across the continent, we do a lot to make sure that we are laying backhaul pipes, that we are bringing Wi-Fi to the continent, and doing a lot of innovative stuff to just bring people online. And that's fantastic. But it's one thing being online, and it's another then to teach people what they can do online. And that's really the space that I and my team play in. We work with very big clients that we help explain how they can unlock business results on Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. But we also work with a lot of small businesses, and we do a lot of training for small businesses to help them understand how they can come onto the platform, how they can grow their business on the platform. Because we also know that every small business that's online is more likely to succeed. And every small business that is more likely to succeed employs another person, and that's where we want to be going. So we're in the business of connecting people, we're in the business of building communities, and we firmly believe that when people are connected and they create together, then it leads to successful communities. But now let's talk a little bit specifically about the WOOC. So you can advance the slide for me there. But I'm really excited that this audience is the first audience that we are showing. I think it's the previous slide. Sorry, the video. Thank you. This is the first audience that we are actually releasing WOOCs to. It is something that we are trying together with UNISA, and that's a fantastic opportunity because UNISA is also at the forefront of delivering education and distance education specifically across Africa. And we want your help. We want your input. We want you to try this. We want you to tell us how it's been for you. And we want to build this into an even better product that we can hopefully take to not all of Africa, but also to the rest of the world. Because we really are very proud about this being an innovation that is born here in South Africa, but we want it to be adopted in India, and we want it to be adopted in Brazil, and we think, you know, that we should be the people to innovate how education is being delivered across a platform like WhatsApp. So I'm very excited about that, and the content that is on this WOOC, as Professor Tennyson has said, is content that we specifically selected for you. You can go on to the next slide, thank you. And we have a lot of content available, and Junaid will tell you a little bit more later about other resources about where you can learn to do things on Facebook. But this specifically, this course, and there will be many other WOOCs in the future, we hope, but this specific WOOC is going to help you become an associate marketing professional for Facebook. So what does that mean? That means that you will all know all the basics in detail about setting up an advertising account on Facebook and Instagram. And the team are going to take you through a little bit of a taster of that today. But it also means that you'll have this amazing certification on your CV that you can push out. And hopefully, I feel that this is a skill that whether you plan after this degree to start your own business, or whether you're going to be working for a big corporation, this is truly a skill that we hope will stay with you. And definitely, as Professor Tennyson mentioned, help you find that next opportunity. So with that, the last thing I'm going to say is take out your phones. I hope you have your phone near you. Most people never have it very far. I just want you to go through these few steps. So you type in that URL, fb.me/Digify WOOC. Please do notice that that's case sensitive, the Digify WOOC piece. You type it into in your browser, into the URL bar. That will direct you to open WhatsApp. It's just a lot easier than saving that number on the screen that you see there in your contacts, but that's another way to do it. But if you type in the URL, it will go straight open to WhatsApp. You can say save contact, and then you just start chatting. Our personality is Naledi. Naledi will welcome you. You just say hello, and she'll take you through all the steps of how to use the WOOC. So thank you very much for your time. I am so looking forward to hearing your feedback about this project, and I hope you will enjoy it. And I'm now going to hand over to the Digify team, who will take you through a bit of a taster of what is in the content that will be delivered through WhatsApp in this instance, but they're going to give you a taster on screen of what it means to advertise on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you very much.
My name is Junaid Sabira. I'm the Business Education Training Partner for Sub-Saharan Africa. I'm very excited to be part of this initiative. This seems like really one of those game changers that will effectively make education, business education, very accessible, to lots of different types of people that might not potentially have the equipment to actually utilize our programs that we have on our web browser. So essentially, very, very proud to be here, very happy to be here. Kolani, if you can maybe just go to the next slide. So as Elizabeth noted, we will be going over a taster of the things that you could potentially expect to see if you made this your career. And as Professor Tennyson said, the job market isn't easy, and often we do have to make things ourselves. This is a pathway that can eventually lead to self-employment, can eventually lead to sort of a lot of fulfillment as well. Whether you are doing this for yourself or whether you land up in institutions that allow you to do this type of work within them. So, for the agenda today, we will just be covering 4 main points. The first one is, why you should be establishing your presence on Facebook in the first place. What makes Facebook such an important partner for businesses today? Number 2, the power of Facebook ads. And so Kolani will, expertly, take you through a number of slides that sort of just give you a hint at, what Facebook ads are capable of doing. Number 3, create targeted content. Right, so we'll be discussing a little bit about targeting as well, and then I'll come in and just wrap it up in the point number 4 with measuring your progress with Facebook ads. And so I sort of drew the short straw, and I'll be doing the most boring bit of the presentation, which is fine. I'm always happy to do that, but I'll close it off and then we'll hand it back to Elizabeth. So without further ado, Kolani, if you be so kind just to take us through the presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Junaid. Before I get into the actual presentation and taking you through the course and letting you know how you can use Facebook tools to start, grow, and manage your business, I just want to be a testament and a testimony from what Prof. Tennyson said and what Elizabeth said to all the students. Just to let you know, 10 years ago, I was doing my first year of studying at the University of Johannesburg. I studied a BCom Information and Knowledge Management degree. It was not about marketing, but it was about how the internet works, how businesses use the internet, and how people use the internet, and how all of those things are converging. So in that journey, I then in 2013 finished my course and then started my first business. Guess what my first business was? It was a social media marketing agency because that's what businesses were asking for. My skills, though, were not marketing. my skills were competitive intelligence and research and analysis, but I was able to connect the two because I had a creative background. I understood social media and I understood business problems. And I saw that social media and digital marketing is basically the way for businesses to understand their competitors, sell their products, understand people as well, because of the amount of data and information it can help you get and understand and analyze. So 10 years from now, we don't know what the future looks like, but what we've built today is something that's going to allow you to access skills on the go, number one, which is something that's very important. You always have your phone with you. And if you have data and you have Naledi as a contact, you're always in an opportunity to learn. You know, I want you to think about WOOC as a tool for you for life, not just to study and get a certificate, but think of it if you needed to understand a concept and you're on your way to a meeting and you just needed to understand how does the new Facebook ad work. You could simply open your phone, go to the course, interact with the video, and then you would be able to learn something. And that's why it's very exciting for us to present this to you. And that's why it's exciting for me also to be here, because what we're about to give you in this virtual space is something that we have automated and built into the WhatsApp bot. So what you're about to experience and the information that is here is the same information you have access on your phone, so that you don't need this presentation afterwards. You can simply just go to the WOOC and then keep learning. So let me just take you through why building your presence on Facebook as a business is important, and then we'll talk about the actual tools and how you get started. So I told you my short story on my first business and how I got into digital marketing, and I'd like to connect that with this, right? So anything that if there's one thing you need to understand about business, is that it's about people. And it's about business solving people's problems, which people are willing to pay for. The key word is people, right? So Facebook allows you to connect with people, whether you're a business or whether you're an individual. But one thing you should know is that through advertising on Facebook, it's possible to reach people outside of the people that you're already following, the people are already your friends, right? There are people who may like a business's product, but they don't know that business exists, right? And it's also vice versa, where there's a business who's got a product that someone needs, but that business does not know where that person is, right? On Facebook, there's more than 2.3 billion people on any given month that are logging in, right? If you're a business, this number should drive you absolutely insane, because this is a huge market potential. If you are trying to sell shirts and you're only trying to sell 100 shirts that are orange and pink for a specific market, you can literally find a piece of this market in the 2.3 billion people that come to Facebook every month. That for me is something that's powerful as someone who has an idea and doesn't know where to test that idea, number one. Number two, if you have a product and you're trying to lock it into certain industries and you don't know how to, this is something that's very exciting, because two-thirds of Facebook users across all countries surveyed, visit the page of a local business at least once a week. That should tell you that in terms of customers, their logic is now, okay, if I need a product, if I need a service, or if I need a job, I go to social media. So before they even go to other platforms like Google and other search engines, they go to social media. So as a business, right, this is where you want to be. In the digital space, if you don't have a physical shop, if you don't have a garage, if you don't have like a space, this is another space where you can start and launch and grow your business. So before we jump onto the next part, right, I just want to paint a picture for you that the 2.3 billion people that log on to Facebook every month, they are not necessarily always looking for a product, right? Sometimes they're looking to connect with friends. Sometimes they're looking to connect with, family. And what you get is the opportunity to meet them while they're doing whatever they want to do, whether it's something that they love or they're here to watch some funny videos. As a small business, you have the chance to meet them there and give them good quality content. And then that's where the opportunity lies for you to then convert that person into the customer. But the only way for you to understand that, or the only way for you to use the platform effectively, is for you to understand who these people are. And I think that has been my success and in the journey of digital marketing, is because I come from a data background. I come from an information and knowledge management background. So my power is being able to analyze information. And that's why I love Facebook tools and products, because I get the data that I need to be able to then define my audience and say, okay, I'm looking to target these kinds of people who have these kinds of attributes and that like these certain things. Then I can put that into a profile and then use that to target people, right? And then at the end, measure those results, which Junaid is going to show us a bit later. But in a practical sense, this is what it looks like, right? As a business, normally you should have a goal, right? What are you trying to achieve? Okay. And once you have that, that then helps you to create an objective for your advertising campaign. And you can then use that to then target your ideal customer. But who is that ideal customer, right? So instead of shooting in the dark, and for example, if you look at traditional marketing, instead of you printing out flyers and standing on the side of the street and handing out flyers to random people, hoping that maybe one of them would be interested in your business, you are now able to target people who matter to you, people who are most likely to buy into your business, to buy into your product, right? So, and that's the major beauty and the major joy of this platform, is that you don't have to guess anymore, right? You don't have to waste time and effort hoping and wishing. If you can define your audience, then you will be able to target them. And I just want to show you in a quick few steps in terms of how you can actually define and target your audience. And I'm going to turn my camera off just to boost the bandwidth. Please don't be offended. So I spoke about people early on, right? I spoke about how it's important to understand people. The three main things that you need to understand before you target any customer is to understand who they are, right? What needs do your customers have? Your typical customer, what problems are you trying to solve for them, right? And what does my typical customer look like? And the third thing is what motivates them, right? So let's tackle some of these questions then. Let's start to break them down. So the first question to ask yourself is, what needs does my typical customer have? Or in other words, what need does my product or service solve for them, right? And then in answering this question, you will be able to then get to the core benefits of your product, your value proposition, okay? So for instance, say you're selling, you know those sprays in the house that make it smell nice, right? So your typical customer is someone, for example, who likes to keep their space smelling fresh, or maybe you want to, maybe you sell purifiers, right? So the identified need or the core of that customer is to help relieve allergies, right? So for this question, you'll want to define what the people with the need that you help solve typically look like in terms of their demographics and their interests. So in other words, what is the typical age of my customers? What is their agenda? Do they have a certain education level? Do they have a certain level of income? What topics do they have are they interested in? What kind of media do they watch, right? These are the things that will give you a picture of what your typical customer looks like. So if you can see in this example, if you had to take the picture of the picture that you see here, it's a mixed race couple, interracial couple. The lady is interested in natural hair because as you can see, she's got an afro that's blowed out. Those are the kind of demographics, or maybe that's an Apple MacBook, right? So in that Apple MacBook, in you describing a typical customer, you can say they're in an income bracket of this much, and they typically use a MacBook because they're in the creative field, and that kind of stuff. So if you're able to describe a customer like that and paint a picture, the next question that you need to then ask and be able to answer before you start targeting is, what motivates my typical customer? What moves them to try out services and products, right? So for instance, are they motivated by money or discounts? Okay, are they motivated by peer pressure? So meaning, are they motivated by their friends' opinions, or are they motivated by getting something for free, right? So your typical customer has a lot of things that motivates them. Sometimes what will make someone buy something is if they get a free sample, okay? So you can run competitions and say, okay, we'll give you this thing to try out, and if you enter the competition, you can win, blah, blah, blah. Those are the kinds of things that you come up with when you understand what motivates your customer. For example, for students, we know students love to save money on the things that they need, right? Meaning they love to save money on food, they love to save money on textbooks, they love to save money on everything else, but having a nice time, okay? So if you can create a benefit that is going to motivate the student customer, for example, you will discount the student's food grocery if they buy your clothes, right? That is something that you can use to then run a campaign so that you can target your customer. But you can only do that if you understand what motivates them. So a lot of your time should spend onto understanding data, doing research, and understanding your audiences. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what target audiences may look like for each of the businesses that we just spoke about, right? There's something called customer personas, right? If you understand customer personas, or actually, let me just quickly break it down. A customer persona is you having a picture or an idea of your customer and their personality, okay? So for instance, if you're a restaurant, right? Let's say it's a Mexican restaurant that specializes in authentic tequila-based cocktails in Rosebank, okay? Then what would be the customer persona? Who are those people that would go to that place? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. What do they need, okay? So for example, here, people who have a need for socializing with friends over good food would come to this restaurant, okay? The demographics, these would be people who are in between 20 and 34, who have no kids, probably students or young professionals, and they really love food. They're pretty much a foodie, right? So this is who they are in a nutshell. And what motivates them is promotions. So on Fridays, you can then start hosting a buy one, get one free cocktail with this special meal. Okay, so you will sell them the meal, but the benefit is the promotion of the cocktail. So they will pay full price for the meal, but they will pay half price for the cocktail. So because you understand the need and the motivation, you're able to then create content campaigns and use Facebook to target people based on their needs. So when you're running a Facebook ad in this instant, you would then put in these details in your ad and in your targeting, and the people that have liked and commented and interacted with pages around the interest or the things that you've put in to target them, which Junaid will explain a bit later, those are the people who will be reached, right? So the next example is an architecture firm. So typically, what would their customer be, right? And what would their needs be, and what would be their motivations? Okay, so here you're looking at someone who has the need to either remodel a house or build a new house, or maybe even, you know, they're buying a house for their parents or something like that. And their demographics would be then their age, which is between 35 to 54, and they earn above 100,000, and they have a college degree, and so on and so on. That's what you then use on your ad to then target your customer. But you need this persona to be able to do it effectively. Okay, so a student who maybe likes to shop online, okay, and you're an online jewelry store, the customer persona that you'd be looking at would be something like this. Or even if they're not a student and they're, you know, a young professional, their need would be a unique way to communicate or commemorate important occasions. So birthdays, weddings and anniversaries, and the jewelry would be the product that the business sells. This would be the customer that you would target, and this would be the information that you then use in your ad to target this kind of customers. Okay, so if you look at these audience descriptions, they're all quite specific, right? When you start working on your advertising campaign, you'll find that having a very detailed understanding of your target audience is a super great real benefit. Okay, it'll make it a lot easier for you to create your messaging as well, and it'll make it easier for you to brief your graphic designer to create marketing collateral that matches the audience who you're trying to speak to. So in a nutshell, that's what you would need to then go ahead and run a successful ad. Okay, so this is just a success story, which I'm just going to skip because of time, but you guys know this brand, and it's a brand that, you know, considered having a gift service, a gifting campaign on the online store, and they receive over 18,000 transactions on their website, you know, in terms of orders and stuff on their social media platform. So they've done very well in using social media and running ads on Facebook to reach people. So check them out if you're trying to learn from some people who are already doing it and doing it very well. Okay, so I'm halfway and I'm going to then move on to the next part, right? So once you understand your personas, the people that now, or the things that you need to do is a couple of things, right? So I'm going to give you some best practices on how to then make sure that your strategy works, okay? But when you're creating your targeted content, right, what you need to think about is refining your audience. So in your strategy, you need to look at things like lookalike audiences, custom audiences, and how you can use the information you've been getting from your customers to target them better, if that makes sense. The other part is to try and test different kinds of creatives. So you may find that the couple who's mixed race, interracial, that you ran an ad to, which was maybe if the placement was stories, did not really click on that video, okay? But if you change the video to a carousel, then maybe they'll respond better, okay? So, but that you can only do if you refresh your content and you look at your analytics and you get to understand and you get to test different things. So that's why you need to refresh your creative. And also the last part is if your ad set is under delivering, if you are spending money and you are not getting the results that you had hoped for, then you need to switch and change your budget strategy. Okay, so one strategy would be to switch from like a low cost bidding strategy so that you can maximize your chances of spending on your budget. But those are the things that Junaid will take you through a bit later. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a couple of best practices and then move on to the next section. So number one, you need to keep in mind that as you increase your budget, ROI can go down. Okay, so as you scale budget, newly won impressions will be less cost effective than those won with the previous budget. Okay, so scaling allows you to run more tests, leverage better ad creatives, and develop deeper expertise in running campaigns. Okay. Number two is match your optimization goal as close as possible to your business goal. Okay. For example, bid for lower funnel conversions, not clicks. Okay. So for example, if you bid for clicks, the system will look at impressions for your budgets, right? And if you bid for conversions, the system will try and find the most conversions instead. And again, this is something you'll go through in detail a bit later. And another thing that you need to understand is it takes about 50 conversions per ad set per week for our system to better predict conversions. So you need to think about, okay, how long am I going to run this ad so that I can get the best results? So any change to targeting or creative will reset the system's learning process, okay? Large changes to bid budgets can also reset learning. So what you see in the first 50 conversions after a change may not be indicative of what you'll see after the first 50, right? So you need to be aware of that. And number 4, if you can't get to 50 conversions, think about moving your optimizations goal up funnel, okay? So if you have a very small but qualified audience and you're not getting enough volume, bidding for impressions can be more efficient than bidding for conversions. So those are the 4 best practices at the moment that I'll take you through, and then later on, Junaid will take you through the rest. So there are 3 key products, right, that help you then to be flexible with your campaigns, right? Number 1 is campaign budget optimization. Okay, so basically you set one central campaign budget for the entire thing to optimize and continuously distribute the budget to the top performing sets in real time. Okay, and then the other part is automatic placements. When you enable automatic placements, let's say you're not sure where's the best place to put the ad, right? You're not sure if it's supposed to be on stories, or it's supposed to be before a video, or it's supposed to be on Instagram. If you enable your automatic placement, you will elect to run ads across the entire Facebook family of apps and services so that the ad can be delivered to a content that the client or the customer you're trying to reach will find it, and it will give you the lowest possible cost at any given time. This is a very great feature that you can start using, and it will literally save you a lot of time and help you get better in terms of running ads. Okay, and you can use CBO and automatic placements together. Okay, in this section, right, you can use campaign. So CBO is basically campaign budget optimization. Okay, so the most flexible bid strategy type that offers the most scale. That's what this is. And the strategy will always bid the amount to minimize your cost per result while making sure that you maintain the budget. Okay, so if you have a budget of 1,000 Rand, by using this strategy, the ad will make sure that we keep everything within 1,000 Rand, but we make sure that we're going to bid at a level so that the amount gets you the best results while keeping the budget intact. Okay, and this allows you to get the best results for the duration of the campaign. Okay, so we can go into a bit more detail in this, which is what I'll try to do quickly, so that we don't also run out of time, because there's very exciting things later on that we can go through. So in this section, we're going to just go a bit deeper into campaign budget optimization. Okay, so without campaign budget optimization, your campaign level budget is spent evenly across ad sets. However, if you choose to enable this feature, Facebook allocates the campaign level budget to the best performing ad set in real time. Okay, so if you are not using CBO, okay, so meaning you have a budget of, let's say, 30 Rand, or let's say 30,000 Rand in this example, and you have ad set 1, 2, and 3. Let's say in the ad set, the first thing here, you're using a carousel. The second one, ad set number 2, you're using a stories video. And ad set number 3, you are using a static image on you've boosted a post. Okay. So here, without the campaign budget optimization, you will get a total average cost per conversion at 2 Rand. Okay, meaning per person you will be spending 2 Rand, right? So if we add just another K there, let's say that's 2K. Okay, if you're using the 30,000 Rand example, then the average cost per conversion would be your 2,000 Rand. And depending on what you are selling and how much that is, then you can quantify your ROI. But if you look at with campaign budget optimization, the same 3 ad sets, right? What Facebook will do is that they will then spend more money on the one that's best performing so that you get the best results in real time. Okay, that's the beauty of this. So you wouldn't have to guess. It will do it automatically for you. Okay, and when you enable automatic placements during the campaign setup, where your ad is going to be seen will depend on obviously the audience you are trying to reach, and automatic placements will go across the entire Facebook family of apps. So instead of running your ad as a boosted post on Instagram, you can now, if you have automatic placements, it will run across the entire Facebook family of apps. I'm not sure, well, I know a lot of the times when we do these sessions, there aren't a lot of people that know what the Facebook family of apps are, right? So I just want to introduce you to them. So the Facebook family of apps includes Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and the audience network. So I know a lot of people know Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp and Messenger, but from Ads Manager, you can publish ads on all the Facebook family of apps and in the audience network, which is what I'm going to take you through now, right? Audience network extends Facebook's people-based advertising beyond the Facebook platform. What that means is people are also on websites. They're not only on Facebook. People search the internet, and by using the audience network, Facebook allows you to reach those people. Maybe when they are downloading something on a website, like I know I see some ads a lot of the time on WeTransfer. So when I'm downloading stuff on WeTransfer, I see ads, and those ads are on a website. So audience network is something like that. It will allow you to serve ads that then can reach the same people both on Facebook and where they are on the internet. Okay, so this is a very powerful tool, and that's why you should use automatic placement. And automated placements and campaign budget optimization work well together, because what happens is, in the next slide, I'm just going to show you how campaign budget optimization and automatic placements work together. But here, this is a really simplified view of a campaign structure, right? So at the top, right, it would be your campaign, right? So you've got a campaign, and under the campaign, you have ad sets, right? And those are the different things that you're going to put onto Facebook for people to see. So you're targeting the types of description and how you describe the people that you're trying to reach, and the artwork, and that's what you'll do in that section. And then you also have your campaign budget optimization. Like I said, campaign budget optimization works by giving Facebook the flexibility to let each amount or each rand that you use to flow, right, in a way that it optimizes where the picture is going to be, the ad, based on the people that are going to see it and the amount that you have. The biggest thing that I want you to get out of this is that if you have a fixed budget, the best way to use it is to run and put your ads and make sure that they are automated. The placements are automated, and that you use campaign budget optimization so that it goes to the best placement for the best person who needs to see your ad. Okay. So advanced placement, right? The automatic placements that I've been talking about works the same way, but at a placement level, so that you can see with each ad set, the delivery system is doubled down on the winning placements. Okay. In some cases, you see that this means relatively little delivery on any given placement. And that's fine. And in many instances, it's to be expected. And the goal isn't equal spend, but it's best possible spend. So if you look at what's happening on the screen, it'll always be, where can we use the money the most? Where will the money get us the best results? And that's what automated placements help you with. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next section where I'm just going to show you what it actually looks like when you are actually running the ad and the basic steps into how to run the ad. So once you've created your audience, okay, and you've pretty much identified their needs, their motivations, what gets them going. When you run the ad, it looks something like this, okay? And your audience meter is one of the most important things that will guide you when you're running your ad, okay? So by defining your audience, it allows you to target people, and you can target them in such a way that your audience meter will then be on the green zone, which is a good zone, which means you are probably going to get the most returns for your money. It looks something like this on the platform, okay? So you take that information that you created about your customer persona, and then you come to this platform on Ads Manager to create a new audience, okay? So you do that by clicking on Create New Audience once you're on Ads Manager. Right, over there. And once you've created the audience, you'll then put in all the details about the audience, where they are, where you want to reach them, their interests, and the stuff that we spoke about earlier. And then you will then move on to where to best run your ads, which is the audience network. But this, remember, we said that the automatic placements will work best. And then you are able then to get and see where your best performing ad is. Okay. This is going to be the last slide before I hand over to Junaid. So Junaid, please prepare yourself and I will hand over to you in a few seconds. The last part of running your ads and getting started on Facebook that I want to talk you through, and Junaid will pick up from here, is the Facebook pixel. Okay, I don't know if you know anything about it or if you've heard anything, but if you know anything about, let's say, the other product, the search engine that also has websites, it's basically like Google Analytics, but with a pixel, a Facebook pixel, it allows you, it's basically a snippet of code, right, that goes into your website, and it allows you to make sure that when your ads are shown to people or your ads are clicked on, all right, and people have visited a specific page on your website, you can then measure that, okay? You can see who clicked and where did they come from, and then you can use that to reach more people and you can optimize your results. That's basically what a Facebook pixel is. A small piece of code you can add onto your website that you get from your Facebook page. And when someone visits your website and makes an action, the pixel is triggered then to report this into an action. And then you can also retarget the same people using the pixel. A simple example is when you leave something in the shopping cart and that person is using a Facebook pixel, you can then retarget that customer to say, hey, did you leave something in your shopping cart? Here's 50% off if you clear out your cart. That's what Facebook pixel helps you to do. And from here, I will hand over to Junaid.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Those lessons. I think this was a really awesome first glance at everything that can come your way with Facebook. And I'll be honest with all of you on the call today that this is but the tip of the iceberg, as they say, when it comes down to the actual things that one can do within our platforms. And if you think of that's a lot to digest. The way I often think about when there's a lot to digest like this, it excites me that there's so much to learn, but it means that there's so many opportunities. What we've spoken through now is not just one person's role in an organization. It's often a team of individuals that are all coming together to produce exactly what we've just been speaking about. And so, as I said, I'll be taking you through the very quick glance at how we measure Measurement is actually very important in the industry. For those of you that are studying and have digital marketing elements in your course, in your existing courses, essentially, you'll know that one of the biggest draws with digital marketing is the fact that all of these elements are measurable, right? And so you get these two worlds. You get the world of brand marketing and the world of direct marketing, and we sort of fit in that specific space. And I think, Wax, you can just maybe go to the next slide. Next slide, sorry. Yeah. So this is a typical campaign report, and it doesn't look very much exciting. It's looks like a spreadsheet, and essentially the idea here is, and this is something that it's a bit of a secret that I'm telling all of you that are wanting to pursue this as a career, and even those wanting to utilize Facebook as a partner for future businesses and entrepreneurial efforts that you'll be going in. The snippet here is that you have to be comfortable with numbers. You have to be comfortable with reading things and making judgment calls from what it is that you're reading, right? The campaign report that you see in front of you is a result of all of the different elements that were spoken about in Kulani's presentation before this. And essentially, when you tinker with all of these elements, the system then starts to self-build the campaign report for you, and obviously takes into consideration all of the different elements that you've added, so that when it is time to look back at your performance, you can then see the results that was achieved. Next slide. Yeah, next slide. Sorry. Yeah. No, you can go back one. Sorry. Right, and so you do see themes like this running throughout our program, where little graphs will indicate performance, in particular around certain aspects that you may really care about. And it's been a while since I've been in this industry for 10 years. Majority of it I've spent in front of this little window over here, so it's been a while and it's taking me back. Essentially, in terms of this, you can see charted sort of data that will give you indications of where things might have gone wrong in the month. And then as Kulani was speaking in the beginning about the demographics that one can target, this window will allow you to see exactly if those messages are landing in the intended audiences, and so it becomes very powerful when you can start to sort of wrap things around, and you have this vision of targeting certain individuals, and you're closing it off with being able to see what is actually happening. And then we spoke a little bit about placements in this, particularly automatic placements. Kulani also introduced you to the family of applications. It is important for you to have a full view of all of the different placements that your advertising is going into. And so we do have windows as what you see in front of you, which is something that you'd be using quite often if this is something that you pursue as a career, along with anything else. Essentially, you'll be using this window as well to see the distribution of your ads and how effective those advertising pieces are. And I think for the purposes of this example, we are going to skip through. So this is quite a neat slide. It's a business called Time, and we just don't have enough of it at the moment. So we are just going to skip through. Essentially, Time showcase their ads with Facebook results, and showcase their products with Facebook ads, and got a massive return. Quite a successful campaign, but there'll be more of this inside of the coursework that you'll be going on, and sort of pursuing as you sort of utilize our services. This is the Facebook Ads Manager. This is a pocket edition, commonly used in the industry for reporting purposes and just checking on things if you out and about, if depending on what your role is. Not maybe the best candidate for actually creation of campaigns, essentially, but definitely a very solid viewpoint on the performance of your campaigns, and so that you can quickly hurry back home and make the bulk changes that you need to do, depending on the level that you enter the industry and one day pursue. So next slide. All right, so that brings us to the end of the measurement portion. Not too exciting, but as I said, get comfortable with the idea of measurement, the idea of following up, and the idea of making judgment calls based on data. One big tip is don't look at data from a day-to-day perspective. Get large groupings of data. Often in the industry, we talk about a 7-day rule where at least 7 days is what we need to sort of, make any decisions on the future changes that might need to happen on this campaign. As I said in the top of the presentation, I am from Facebook myself, and I exist within the business education space. And this baby is something that we see quite often, or that I see quite often, essentially. This is our Facebook Blueprint portal. This is where all businesses go to learn more about our services. I would take a snapshot of this link. I know we will be sending follow-ups, but essentially, this is a go-to for a large variety of online e-learning courses, and we are building on top of this as we speak, and there'll be much more to come in this particular site portal. All right, and I think that if you do have any small business ideas, or if you have small businesses in your family, I would encourage you to also just double check the Facebook for Business portal. There will be lots of opportunities to upskill within specific existing businesses. We do also have other products available for them as well that they can maybe take advantage of. Next slide. And then the Facebook Resource Hub, let's just go next slide, Kalani. Now, this hub has a wealth of different resources for you to sort of, I want to say the word plunder, but I don't think that's the correct word here. I think, there's a lot of resources for you to sort of, just dive into, depending on, what it is that you are, or, what kind of business you are. You may also be, very much able to take advantage of those resources specifically. The Resource Hub also has a lot of details on specific industry guides, tips, tools, everything that you need all in one space to get familiar with our products, to get started, and to move forward with your advertising. Next slide. And so I think there will be some Q&A, and by all means, send us your questions via the actual the question tool, the Q&A tool. Elisma will be coming back just to close everything off, but myself and Wax, we will just be answering questions in the actual Q&A. And so please don't be shy, just send us anything in that. So thank you all so much for the time, and I now hand over to Elisma.
Thank you, Junaid, and for taking us through that. I hope it's given everyone a bit of a taster of the world of advertising with Facebook and Instagram and what's possible. And having attended many of Junaid's trainings, I can tell you that there are days and days and days of more content on this topic. It becomes very sophisticated, and you can go very deep, and it's some fantastic tools that you really help you to get on top of. So we will hope that you will use the WOOCs for that. A reminder of the URL, we'll send it out tomorrow, but it's FB, as in Facebook, so fb.me/Digify WOOC. So please get on there and let us know how it goes. Alnarina, I don't know if we're taking any questions from you for the team, or how you want to let us know what people are asking.
Thank you so much, Elisma. At the moment, we have had all of the questions answered on the Q&A forum by replying to them. I just want to remind everybody that, as Elisma said right at the beginning, the URL that she's just spelled out for you guys again is case sensitive. But from our side, I mean, it's a really exciting opportunity, and we are just going to press everybody to start using it. As we've been speaking, I've been taking a gander into the Facebook, the WOOC myself, and I am very excited to get started.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity to collaborate with UNISA as well. We hope it's the first of many, and we really welcome your feedback, and also hopefully the innovation that we're going to drive together and take to the rest of the world. Okay. With that, I'm going to say good night, students, and hope you're all going to go and off and do something fun, or if not, maybe learn a little bit more about Facebook. Thank you so much.